Whether you're gay, straight, bi, or questioning, I found as a therapist that men are wrestling with strikingly similar questions around meaning, identity, community, and relationships. I know what it's like to look successful on the outside, but feel something different inside. I know what it's like to have the credentials, the career, the success, the faith, the roles, the responsibilities, and still feel that some deeper part of your life is trying to get your attention. And that's why I created this Compass Quest field guide and this challenge coming up on YouTube. Next week, I'm starting this 12-week challenge for men around these questions about identity, purpose, relationships, meaning, and living a fulfilling life as a man. Hi, I'm Dr. Dave. Welcome to the Good Life Lab. If you don't know who I am, I'm a therapist, coach, and college professor turned YouTuber and content creator. This is kind of a space where we explore stories and psychology and science and soul for the purpose of helping men find their path and their people, whether you're gay, straight, bi, or something in between. Please subscribe if you haven't. I'd really appreciate it. I'm a gay man. I lived most of my life in the closet professionally and personally as an athlete in college, and then a pastor part-time, and then also as a Christian higher ed leader and professor. So I spent most of my life, 40 years of my life, closeted and trying to figure out some of these questions around purpose, identity, and meaning. And for this season of the Good Life Lab, I'll be using Heated Rivalry still and some of those characters and other stories as doorways into this conversation around identity, meaning, and purpose. Because when I see Shane and Ilya, the main characters in Heated Rivalry, I don't just see two beautiful, complicated men in a powerful love story. I see two men who have almost everything men are told to want: success, discipline, status, admiration, a public identity that seems to be working, and still underneath all that, they are wrestling with something deeper. These questions are relevant to not just Ilya and Shane, but to all of us. Who am I beneath what I do? What kind of life am I actually building? Who really knows me? What am I hiding? And what would it mean to stop splitting myself in half? Those questions are personal for me. As I've mentioned, as a closeted athlete and Christian professional for into my 40s, I struggle daily with these questions. And like I said, as a therapist and coach, I work with men on the spectrum of sexuality and orientation. And whether you're gay, straight, bi, or questioning, very similar, universal questions about identity, purpose, and meaning. And like I said, I hear these same questions from men across the board. Men who look perfect almost from the outside, but feel lost, disconnected, restless, or unsure where they're headed. And just huge questions about what does it mean to be a man in this world today? In this 12-week series I'm doing, I'll be connecting these storylines to Ilya and Shane and to real people I've been working with, friends, colleagues, and people who just volunteered to join me in this journey. So each week I'll introduce one piece, one coordinating point, I call them, from the compass. So each letter stands for a different aspect of this coaching framework that I've used that I'll be introducing you to through the lens of Ilya and Shane, but also some real men in my life that I've kind of walked through this process with for the purpose of connecting this to your life. So if you're navigating something challenging right now, a different season of life, a new relationship or a breakup of a relationship, and you want to focus on kind of what's next for you, this is the series for you. And the first question I often ask people to think about in this process is, what themes keep repeating in your life? To pay attention to the themes, whether they are internal kind of feelings going on or external signs that you might be seeing. What are the themes that keep repeating in your life? Because sometimes your life is leaving clues and you just aren't tuning into it. It could be a longing that keeps coming back, a frustration or anger that you keep explaining away, a conversation that you just can't stop thinking about, a desire you keep dismissing, a part of yourself that keeps trying to get your attention. This is where I often begin with people, helping them tune into, pay attention to those repeated themes that might be speaking to them about their lives and the direction they need to take. So next week's first video, the first week of August, is going to be this 12-week challenge launch. Next week's video is going to be around why successful men still feel lost. I'm going to use Shane and Ilya as an example. Also get into some of the clues that life might be telling us that we often ignore. If you want to follow along for yourself, which is the point of this series, is to help you dig into some of this content around the compass and begin to navigate your own life change. So if you'd like to do that, I've provided the first chapter for free. You can buy the book. It's also on Amazon and on my website, but the first chapter is free. So I'll provide a QR code for that and also links below if you want to check that out. And even get a group together of 2 or 3 people that you may know that can walk through this material together, kind of like a small group or support group that works much better. These kinds of things, life change kind of works better with that community. So whether you're here for more kind of commentary on Ilya and Shane and their relationship and where it's going, or maybe you're here because you're kind of trying to find your own direction in life, or maybe because some part of your life is kind of tapping you in the shoulder to pay attention to something that's internally or externally happening in your life. I'd love for you to join me in this series, because maybe what you're feeling, maybe an angst of some kind, or an anxiety, or even a love for something that you want to explore, those are like clues. Maybe you don't need the whole map of where your life is heading. Maybe you just need a compass. Please subscribe if you haven't. I'd really appreciate it. All right, have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time.